Good afternoon and welcome to Industry TV Network. Make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Well guys, today while I was at work perusing the internet, looking for updates, looking to find something worth speaking on, I found an article about the Jackson 5. Now, first let me say, Ashley Says So. I'm sure you guys are familiar with her channel. She did a video about the Jacksons and their father Joe and some pretty sadistic things that he was allegedly involved in and that he brought his sons into. I have been wanting to talk about this before Tito passed, but I wasn't too sure if I wanted to dive into that, because sometimes when you speak on these things that go on in Hollywood behind the curtain, people get insulted for some reason, like you're making this up. But when I heard Ashley speak on it, I said to myself, she is telling the absolute truth and it is finally coming out. She also spoke on a book by a young lady named Bryce Taylor. When I read the book, it was available online on PDF for free. It was called, I forgot what it was called, guys, but the name was Bryce Taylor, Bricettaylor, Bryce Taylor. And in her book, which she was speaking about being abused as a child and being sold for sexual favors with Hollywood people, politicians, and stuff like that, she spoke on one time being with Bob Hope, allegedly. I don't know if these things are true, y'all. And she said that the Jackson 5 was getting ready to perform, and before they performed, they were sexually assaulted by some man. Now, it was hard for me to discuss that because it was unbelievable. It was surreal to me at the time. But over the years, all these secrets have been coming out about who these people really worship. And then I got the book by the Shylights. Now, Ashley was talking about the book. I had heard about it before Ashley Says So said it in her video that she did on the Jackson 5 and their father. But I never got around to getting the book. But I finally had gotten it. After she mentioned it again, she reminded me about it when I watched her video. And the things in this book, it's called Inside the Shylights. In this book, I'm going to read some of Inside the Shylight music. Now, it was supposedly written by one of the Shylight members' son, but it is absolutely unbelievable. It is off the wall, y'all. It's on Amazon if y'all want to read it. This is an excerpt from it. It says, what happened was that the Jackson 5 came to our house for a rehearsal, and it's not written very well, so I have to improvise. They were asked to go into the house to pick my dad up and to practice before the World Tour concert with the Shylights. All 5 members, Randy, Jermaine, Jackie, Marlon, and Tito, were there. They arrived in a black limousine, all of them riding together. Michael arrived in a separate limousine. Now, I'm not sure how old they were because it doesn't say. They parked in front of our house, walked in, and began to talk about how they were going to produce this concert and what they needed to make it a memorable one. I believe, he said, Tito, Joe, and Jermaine asked my father for $50,000 because he said he needed the money to spot the instruments. They were leasing the instruments, or they needed to buy new instruments for the concert. And so my dad gave them $25,000 up front and loaned him $50,000 for the show. He gave him $25,000 and told him he would give him the rest later. The next day, I remember seeing the Jacksons going downstairs to do a rehearsal for the concert. They even had dinner at our house that day. During one rehearsal session, my sisters and I, who were 5 and 6 years old, were brought down to the actual entertainment room, which was located in the basement of our house. My mother was there, but had gone upstairs. All four members of the Shylights, including my dad, Marshall Thompson, Eugene Records, and Robert Lester, were there, along with the owner of Logic Brunswick Records, Nathan Nat Trenopole, and Paul. None of them caught our attention as much as the new figure, whom none of us identified. It was a satanic priest dressed in a black robe with a hood. It was a satanic robe. The hood he had on covered his face. As I walked into the other room, I saw my sister being thrown over a table and being blanked by Marshall Thompson. I don't see where he said what his dad's name was, guys. So he's saying one of the Shylights was raping his sister. I was quickly subdued by the Jackson 5 members, who then brought my sister into the entertainment room. In the room, I saw a pentagram drawn with white chalk. Okay, so I can't read the rest, guys. It's just too graphic. But if you want to know what went on, what he said or claimed allegedly went on, and this is not the first time I heard some things like this. I've heard it, and I've heard that this goes on in the industry behind closed doors. These are things we are not privy to. But it's like some type of initiation these people have to go through to be able to be anywhere near successful in that business. And I've heard things about Motown and Berry Gordy too. I just haven't seen it written anywhere. But I only read that excerpt to get y'all into this article that I found today on Radar Online. Okay, let's go to this article. Okay, the article says, inside tortured Jackson 5's secret world, seedy sex habits of group revealed in wake of Tito Jackson's passing at age 70. Now, this is so difficult. If you can imagine how overpowering Joe Jackson was over these boys, you can see that they were traumatized at a young age, even by the way that they speak so softly. Something just wasn't right. But let's read this article. Sensational claims about the secret sordid world of the famed Jackson 5 has resurfaced in the wake of Tito Jackson's passing at age 70. I have to say passing, guys, because they don't allow us to say certain words. That's why you hear me spell out sex and stuff like that. RadarOnline.com can reveal disturbing details about the Jackson brothers' alleged sexual habits and the lasting impact on vulnerable young star Michael Jackson growing up. Michael and his brothers, now look at him, guys. Look at what he did to himself. Now, if they say that he had vitiligo and when he got burned and all these things, but look at the drastic change from this Michael. Okay, from this Michael here to this Michael. Michael and his brothers, including Tito, Jackie, Jermaine, and Randy, were signed to Motown Records when the King of Pop was just 9 years old in 1967. When Michael was 11 years old, the group released their first single, I Want You Back, which soared to the top of the charts. But in 1970, when they began their first concert tour, Michael was said to be frightened to learn how popular the family band was. Now, I think this is like how they soften it up, how they don't give us the full details, but Michael was struggling in that world. And I don't think it's just because of what they said. I don't think he hated his dad because he used to get beatings. No, I think it was way deeper than that and goes further than we can even imagine. And one day, it's all going to come out, guys. It's slowly coming to the surface. Although Michael was a minor, he became an XEX symbol for millions of swooning teens. He once said, "I think it's fun that girls think I'm sexy, but it's all just fantasy. I like to make my fans happy, so I pose or dance in a way that makes them think I'm romantic, but really I'm not that way." While Michael confessed he had no interest in groupies, his older brothers Jackie and Jermaine, now they did not say Tito. I told you guys Tito was different. Jackie and Jermaine were said to have taken full advantage of their fame and allegedly forced him to listen as they slept with fans. One girl, I heard that before. One girl recalled hearing a disgusted Michael tell his brothers, "Nice, now will you please go to sleep?" Michael was also said to be deeply affected by his father Joe Jackson's brazen infidelities, and I think it was more than that. He would often tell the boys good night before sauntering off to his bedroom with a woman on his arm. Marlon said, "Joe thought it was funny, but we were very upset by it." Now mind you, they said Jackie and Jermaine, but they did not say Marlon either. The Jackson family's alleged sexual habits are the latest family secret to be uncovered in the wake of Tito's passing. As Radar Online reported, Tito and his siblings were said to be uncomfortable with and jealous of Michael's success as he surpassed the group and dominated charts with his solo career. Now, I'm looking at these, we all have these feelings deep within us, but some of us act on it, some of us live with it, and some of us control it. But I think that Catherine was like the mediator. Like if she wasn't around, they probably would have been even worse. So I think that they were tainted, and the ones that really were tainted probably the most were Jermaine and Jackie. Okay, the rest of them kind of like slithered out of that some type of way or didn't go as far as they did. Resentment deepened when their father seemingly chose to side with Michael over them because Michael was the money. Michael was the golden child. One insider close to the family said, "One day I heard Joseph lecture Jackie and Tito in front of their mother. He said, 'You all sit around waiting for Michael, waiting for the candy store owner to open up the vault and make you rich. The problem is that you are all lazy. You all never worked as hard as Michael, so he doesn't want to do anything with you.'" Another source told the National Enquirer, "Michael may have sabotaged them all, but especially Jermaine. Michael got a lot of help with timing, but Jermaine was the one who was supposed to be the superstar." Now, why couldn't all of them be superstars? Why does it always have to be one person chosen and another person falls by the wayside or gets treated like a second-hand person? Like, why couldn't they all be stars? He stayed at Motown under Berry's wing. He was the hit maker, the star maker, and Jermaine should have been the star. Michael was lucky and got everything his brothers never would. I don't think he was lucky. I think that Michael was extremely talented and he worked very, 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 very hard. I don't know why they want to take that away from him, but I don't believe that. Now they said also that there was some tapes released. Here it is. Horrific family secret Tito Jackson took to the grave. He and his brothers were crazed with jealousy over tragic MJ's success. And I think that this came from that father. That father was something else, y'all. Tito Jackson was plagued with jealousy over his superstar brother's global success before he passed away. The late singer, who passed away on Sunday, aged 70, rest in peace, was part of the iconic Motown group, the Jackson 5, alongside his brothers Jackie, Jermaine, Marlon, and most famously Michael, who went on to become known as the King of Pop. Look at them, how beautiful they were, man. Just tainted by that father who did not protect them. And there was an article that Jermaine Jackson was interviewed when Jermaine Jackson was interviewed. The article was an interview that was done with Jermaine. And Jermaine was describing that Joe would take Michael on these meetings late at night with these record executives, and Michael would come home and be sick for a whole week. So I think they had their eyes on Michael because he had this talent and, he had this glow, and they're attracted to people like that. They want their energy. So I think that Michael was, being accosted and attacked by these sick record executives, and he let it happen. So that's why Michael hated him. It wasn't just because he was being disciplined by his father. That's why he was getting all of these surgeries and plastic surgery, because he didn't want to look in the mirror and see that man. That makes more sense to me than all these other weird stories they've been putting out about Michael. He was traumatized as a child. He was violated as a child. That makes more sense to me, and that's my opinion. Radar Online can reveal Tito and his siblings were never comfortable with Michael's success, who surpassed the band's achievements by securing his own solo success on a global scale. Resentment towards the brother grew when their father Joseph sided with the Thriller star over them. A family insider said, "One day I heard Joseph lecture Jackie and Tito in front of their mother. He said," and I just told y'all that, "The problem is that you all are lazy and he doesn't want anything to do with you." The fourth oldest Jackson sibling, Jermaine, had the biggest issues with the singer during the height of his fame, as he was the one originally tapped to be the band's breakout star. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because Michael was a star from the very beginning. And I'm not going to take anything from them. They were all talented in their own ways. But Michael's talents just stood out more. He made an instant impression with Berry Gordy, the boss of Motown, the band's record label, and left the band in 1976 to start a solo career before rejoining 8 years later. A source told the National Examiner, Michael may have sabotaged them all, but especially Jermaine. Jackie, the eldest sibling, questioned Michael's talent without his brothers. According to the publication, he told an insider at the time, he hasn't had a real hit and he's being used by Elizabeth Taylor and white people. He's nothing without us. Michael, regarded as one of the best-selling musical artists of all time, saw his own career tainted by allegations of sexual abuse against boys, plus excessive drug use. He passed away in 2009, age 50, and allegedly before his memorial service at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, his older sister Reeby's late husband Nathaniel ripped into his brothers, including Tito. A source told the publication, "The jealousy was real, and I've never seen anything like it in any family. By the time they became celebrities, they had so much resentment for each other that they forgot what love really was." Now, there was another article I found, guys. It says, "Tragic. Tito Jackson was trashed by brother Michael on secret tapes. He's just a grease monkey that is so boring." Now, if you listen, we all talk about our siblings when we get mad or something. It's just that it matters who you say it to, because then they'll release it and that's when it becomes terrible. This is what it said. It said Michael Jackson cruelly slammed his brother Tito and the rest of his family, including his mom Catherine, in a series of shocking secret tapes he supposedly didn't want revealed before he passed. RadarOnline.com can reveal the King of Pop could reportedly be heard on the tapes branding his brothers as lazy, calling his mom disappointing, and saying Sister LaToya was nasty, insisting Janet betrayed him, and calling his dad Joe a violent mystery man. The claims reportedly came from a ghostwriter who helped Michael pen his 1988 autobiography Moonwalk, and spoke about the purported tapes when the icon passed away at age 50 on June 25, 2009. I would like to hear these tapes. Jackson unleashed his venomous and petty feelings about each of his loved ones during taped interviews he refused to include in his bestseller, telling the writer, "You can't print that." Now, basically, he didn't want that out there. He was speaking his mind. He probably was frustrated because Michael was the breadwinner for this family. We all know this. So he probably was frustrated and he said a few things, and this man taped it. And Michael told him not to put it out there. Now, why is he, if you're going to put it out there, if you're going to say these things, why didn't you release the tape so we can hear if it's the truth? Because I don't know if this is the truth, guys. In the recordings obtained by Britain's News of the World newspaper, Michael said Tito, who passed away from a suspected heart attack this past Sunday at 70, was a grease monkey. Michael also laid into his brother's pastimes, saying, "He is into the anatomy of how a car is built. He still goes to the hobby shop and buys airplanes and flies them. That is so boring." I wonder how old Michael was. They said this was in 2009. I don't know. He went on to say his eldest brother Jackie, now 73, was a downer who approaches everything with so much negativity and doubting. Jermaine, now 69, was a womanizer who dumped his first wife Hazel after a fling with another girl and lacked the drive to become a solo act. Michael said Jermaine would either be looking for girls or going along with the jokes. Marlon, 67, was ugly and a copycat who constantly imitates me on stage. I hate when that happens because he looks too doo-woppy and so old-fashioned. Youngest brother Randy Jackson, now 47, joined the Jackson 5 later, but refused to listen to Michael because he has to be macho. I'll never forget the day we had a meeting with our producer who said, "You've got to stand up on your own." Randy stood up and said, "I'm a man." We all started laughing. Sister Latoya, now 66, was Mrs. Nice and Nasty. I come in her room and she says, "You can't sit on the couch, the bed, or walk on the carpet." She wants to keep everything fresh. If you sneeze, forget it. She's in another room. His beloved tomboy sister Janet, now 58, betrayed him by marrying record producer James DeBarge, whom she divorced in 1985 after a year of marriage. He said, "It kills me that she moved out of the family home," adding, "We did everything together and were just alike. We would write a whole schedule for the day and follow it. It's a horrible loss." Mom Catherine, now 94, was a great mother and provider, but disappointed him by talking about his personal life in an interview, supposedly saying on the tapes, "I don't like her to talk." Michael's father, Joe, who passed away at age 89 in 2018. That's so sad. He lived till 89, and Tito passed away 6 years later. Would sit in a chair with a belt or switch, and we would do our performance, and if we messed up, he would hit you, he said. I never have felt close to him. He has always been like a mystery man. He reportedly wrapped up the recording session by boasting, "I am the captain of my ship," which tells me that he had finally escaped his father's grasp. He couldn't really come out and tell the public everything he wanted to say, because that would have gotten him in a world of trouble. But look at him, guys. Look at our beloved Michael Jackson. So sad, y'all. But I blame this. If this is true, because right now it's all alleged and it's rumors, but if this turned out to be true, they were all traumatized by their dad. So, you know, I'm not going to say that. This is just so sad. So sad, guys. But anyway, I had to share this article with you guys because when I came across it, I said, this is very, very interesting. But I guess sooner or later this will come out, because this is the age of knowing everything's coming out in 2024. And hopefully one day we will find the truth. Rest in peace to Michael Jackson and Tito Jackson. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Peace and love.